The last tier list that we did was the Pokemon Legendary themes. We did all of them. It took forever. It was like 4 hours, which was a lot of fun. We had a great time, but you know, it was like really long. So I wanted to do a tier list that this time could be like a little bit more digestible. It's still a good amount of songs, but it's not like 50 songs or whatever that we have to go through. The tier list today, you guys, the tier list today is Pokemon Trainer themes throughout the generations. Pokemon Trainer themes. Each generation of Pokemon has a trainer theme that they use as the standard battle theme. And when you have a standard battle theme, you got to make it pretty good, right? Because your players, if you're the game developer, your players are going to hear this song like 100 times at least when they're playing through the game, right? You got to make sure that it's a pretty good theme. You got to make it catchy. You got to make it like easily digestible. Like you got to make it easy to listen to over and over again. So really the only criteria that I have going into this tier list is if you want to be ranked high here, is it catchy? Is it easy to listen to? Are there any parts that are like annoying? Like, are there any parts that are annoying? Like when it loops, like, are you just kind of like, oh man, like I gotta like listen to that part again, right? Like, unlike some of the other themes we've listened to with like champion themes and legendary themes, I'm not looking for it to like terrify me or like intimidate me or anything. I'm mostly just looking for it to be, is it catchy, easy to listen to? Does it make me feel like I'm in a battle? Do I feel like I'm like battling someone, but at like kind of like lower stakes, right? That's really all it is. So we're gonna see what the vibes are like. I know like some of them off the top of my head. As always, S tier, you guys thought was just gonna be S tier, but little did you know. That's of course absolute banger, dude. It's always absolute banger in the S tier, right? So our first theme, chat, is the classic, the Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow trainer battle music. Here it comes. It's iconic. I mean, come on. Truthfully, it's a banger, dude. It's an absolute banger. I'm sorry. Like, dude, they absolutely nailed it. They nailed it. Gen 1, they nailed it, dude. Wait, what's happening? It's just a banger. Like, it's so good. Now we get into ones that are like, you know, maybe a little more controversial, I guess. But, you know, did this song play when the games weren't in color yet? What is color? Oh, color. You added a U for some reason. Yeah, this was the classic. This was from when the games were still in black and white, but not black and white like the games. The next theme was the Gen 2 theme, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. There's actually 2 themes in Gold, Silver, and Crystal because you had Johto and Kanto. So we're going to get a little Johto theme here, and then we'll get the Kanto theme. Here we go. Oh. I mean, dude, it's so iconic. Like, dude, it's so good. I mean, it's an easy, once again, it's just a banger. Like, I'm telling you, they nailed it first 2 gens, they just simply nailed that catchiness that you're looking for in a trainer theme, where it's like you don't feel like you're under this crazy pressure, but it just feels fun. It feels fun, but like you have a mission to accomplish, you know? It's a fun, you know, more friendly kind of fight, you know, and like they just perfectly encapsulated that in the first two gens there. Oh god, it's so good. It's so good. The next theme is the Gold, Silver, and Crystal Kanto theme, which let's just take a listen. Let's take a listen together because it's pretty good. Let's take a listen. Okay, and then it loops. This one was always a little bit of a step down from the original 2. This one for me is more of an A tier. I really like it still, but it's not quite as like engaging for me as the original theme and the Gold, Silver, Crystal theme. But it's still very much up there. It's probably going to end up somewhere in like probably the middle of A tier, I'd imagine, by the end of this. We'll see, but it's based off of the original theme, right? So it's still a great theme. It doesn't quite hit the same. It's a little too, it's like almost too fun, you know? Like it's a little too, I think it was just some of the sound choice. I think that theme just doesn't work quite as good in the Gold, Silver, Crystal sound font, honestly. Our next theme, guys, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. The trainer battle fight. Listen to this. Tell me what you think. What a classic. This sounds like how Kant looks. So like a banger? Like an S tier? Easy B, says Drusifer. You guys are saying C? Because you honestly might be right. I'm not even kidding. You might be right. It's not like a really crazy theme. It's like, it does get a little tiring to listen to after a while. I will say though, I don't know if it's C. I think C is a little low here. I was thinking more of like either, it's probably going to end up, I think, in a high B for me. Because it's supposed to evoke, like, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be catchy, and it's supposed to not be like daunting to listen to, like over and over and over again, right? The reason it's not an A for me is because it's kind of a lot to take in over and over again. That's what she said. If you don't agree with Maria and the Bishu, you're clearly a woman hater. You're right. It is International Women's Millennium, dude. So we do need to put it down in C for now. That's actually a good point, man. I didn't even consider that. We'll leave it in C for now. That's actually good. Nostalgia aside, it's either high B, low A. No, unfortunately, it has to be C because otherwise I hate women, dude. So I can't I can't rank it there. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed, I would highly recommend that. And not only that, if you're only watching the tier lists, would highly recommend checking out some of the other stuff I've been making. These Dudes Lock videos have been a lot of fun. I've been spending a lot of time putting those together. Would highly recommend checking those out. It's a pretty good time, but otherwise just enjoy the tier list. The next one is from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, you guys. Kind of a classic one, honestly. It's kind of a classic. You've probably heard this one many times. If you've ever played a Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum game, solely because the games run very slow. So you have to hear these songs a lot because you're in battles for a long time. but it's pretty good. Listen to it. Oh, dude. It is so good. It just goes so hard. Like, they went so hard with it. Specifically, like, the beginning is like, yeah, it's so fun to fight against strangers in the wild. They approach me and my friends all over the place, and it hurts a lot. But then my Pokemon kill theirs more, and I level up, and I'm not scared anymore. Like, it's like fun and good, and then like it gets a little more serious, but then like back to the fun. It's just so good. It really like invokes that like, all right, I'm going for it. Fighting people, good time. You can listen to it. It's just like listen to this. They let it breathe. They bring it down, and this is where they build it back up. It's just this like slow build back into it. You get to hear. Like crescendo, dude. For me, personally, absolute banger. Absolute, like it is without question to me, absolute banger. It has the energy, it has the vibes. It is just a really, really well-made theme. I could listen to that theme all day, which I think they did a good job of not making it hard to listen to because the games run so slow. All right, this is the trainer battle theme from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Trainer battle theme, the first remake theme we have. I guess we should have done this one before Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, but whatever. Here we go. I mean, come on. Come on. It's a good theme. It's a good thing. I mean, you're remaking a classic theme. You got to kind of spice it up a little, you know? And I feel like they did a good job. I think, honestly, the only thing that holds this one back a little bit is the fact that the Fire Red and Leaf Green sound font, for some reason, when they made the Fire Red and Leaf Green songs, they were in love with their electric guitar sound. Like, they loved it. It's really going for it. And as fun as it is, after one loop of it, you're kind of like, okay, like, oh man, like it's a little chaotic to listen to. So for me, I still really like it. It's probably like right behind the Kanto theme for me here from Gold, Silver, Crystal. It brings good energy, just a little much. Cherry and Kant are so right. I vom my pants. You gotta stop vomiting your pants, guys. You gotta stop. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So now we have the Johto remakes. Two themes, once again, Johto and Kanto trainer themes. I always say that I'm gonna try to not be too much of a, Heart Gold and Soul Silver loyalist and put everything that's from those games in S tier. So I'll try my best here to be a fair and impartial judge. All right, here we go. Oh, the bells. The bells. Just let it breathe. Start building it back up. Back into chaos. It's just, oh, God. Guys, like, I know, I said I was gonna try. I said I was gonna try to be impartial, but it, like, dude, it's like the easiest S tier of my life, dude. It's just so good. Like, it brings the energy, and what I love so much about Heart Gold and Soul Silver's soundtrack is the instrumentation, and they do such a good job. They do such a good job in pretty much every Heart Gold Soul Silver song of like letting the song breathe. I keep saying that, like they let it breathe. It's so important because later in Pokemon games, in later gens, they had this problem where they don't let the song breathe. They don't ever let it just settle in for a sec. It like they just bombard you with noise and then never stop. And it's like overwhelming. They bring it down, they let it sink in, and then bring it back up. And I feel like they do it like perfectly. Like I could listen to that all day. Okay. I don't know if that's going to be the best one, but so far it's easily my favorite. It's not just because they're my favorite games. It's legitimately the theme is my favorite. Definitely prefer this one than the Gen 1 remake. Yeah. The Gen 1, the Fire Red Leaf Green remake version, like it's okay. Like it's good, but like, yeah, they really, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I cannot express enough how much they nailed. I mean, that game was like the first time that they got like multiple year, like it was like a 3-year development cycle. And like it shows time and time again in Heart Gold Soul Silver, like how much love and effort got put into those. It's so good. What's next? It's the Heart Gold Soul Silver again, but we get the Kanto theme. Okay, so the Kanto theme, as you've already seen, the original Kanto theme was a bit of a step down from the Johto theme. Let's listen to it. That's still so good. I love it so much, dude. Okay. I think this one sits very comfortably at the top of A tier. It is very close to absolute banger. The only thing is that, and I think it's more so an issue with the theme itself rather than like any of the really like creative choices around it. Like the original red, blue, yellow theme is a little more like, it doesn't get that chance to like breathe quite as much, but the original theme just works so well. Like it just, in that original kind of crunchy sound, it was perfect. Whereas in the Heart Gold Soul Silver sound font, you are working with a lot more drums, which you're getting a lot of, and you're getting the Gen 4 bass, that like you're getting a lot of that, to the point where if you're hearing something so much that you're starting to just zone out and only hear that, that means you're kind of overdoing it like a little bit in your song, right? Like You don't want to get to the point where you just start to like zone out and you're only hearing that like one part because it's just so like constant. This theme does that a little bit, not badly. Like if it did it badly, it'd be lower, but like it's all done really well. It's just, it's again, not quite as easy to listen to on loop, you know, like over and over again as much as the others in Absolute Banger are. That's like the big gatekeeper for that tier for me, you know. Another thing Heart Gold Soul Silver did right, the sound font isn't egregiously harsh. Yeah, it's a good mix of like, you have the Gen 4 like Diamond Pearl Platinum sounds, but then they also give some like really nice sounds in Heart Gold Soul Silver that you don't really get much in Diamond Pearl Platinum. Specifically like their use of like bells in Heart Gold Soul Silver, I really like. I believe the next one now would be Black and White, right? Because yeah, it would be right into Black and White. So if you've watched our Soul Link stuff lately on the Twitch, okay, from Bisu and I, you will have probably heard this theme at least a few times. This is the Pokemon Black and White trainer battle music. Here we go. It's a good theme. It's a bop. A gen that was kind of notorious for, again, not really leaving a lot of open space in its themes. The Trainer Battle song actually does a pretty good job of it, like all things considered. There are definitely parts where it does come down a bit. Honestly, my biggest issue with the Gen 5 theme is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of highs. It doesn't build up to much. It gives it some space, but then when it comes back up, it's not really doing a lot there, which is not necessarily too bad. It's not really like a huge detriment to it. I think it's still a very well-made theme. To me, it's always felt a little bit too much like almost like a wild Pokemon theme, you know, where it's like something I feel like I'd hear running into a wild Pokemon rather than fighting a trainer. And maybe that, I don't know, maybe that's something weird with me. I would say that's like a high B, which doesn't make it bad. It's just, you're competing with a lot of like, I mean, really, really good themes so far. I think this is by no means a bad thing. I think it's a really solid theme. Like anything under B tier is when you start to get into things that are a little bit like, it could be better. But B tier is still very much like, it is perfectly fine. It fits what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't leave like much of an impact on me. You know, these all leave an impact up here. As far as Black and White 2 goes, because Black and White 2 is the next one, I don't remember this theme super well. I want to say it was pretty similar to Black and White, right? Yeah, pretty similar. Interesting. It almost feels like okay. So what they did here in Black and White 2, they essentially took the theme and tried to like really tighten it up. Oh man, that's so interesting. Like listening to that compared to this, they just took the theme and like really just, they eliminated anything that felt extra and just like brought it down to its most like liquid form. Like it's like synthesized into its one true form. And to be honest, I don't know if I like it as much. It almost takes a little bit of the energy that the original had. It kind of takes some of it away. To be honest, I think they're just kind of equal. I don't think I really like either of them more than the other. I want to say I like the original maybe a little bit more. I don't think they're really distinct enough to rank them too far apart from each other. I think they kind of just nestle in together here, with the first one being a little bit better. What would be next? It should be X and Y, right? Yeah. Okay, let's take a listen. It's gonna sound probably a bit different than what you're used to from what we've heard so far. So. Okay. X and Y is a really interesting one because it's got a lot going on. It's got a lot going on there. And if I'm being honest, I like a lot of what it's doing. I really, it's an enjoyable theme. In my opinion, it's doing a little too much. There are parts of that are a little more intense than I think are needed for a standard trainer fight. There are parts where I feel like I'm fighting like someone in the Elite Four, or I'm fighting like a legendary or something. Like, it gets pretty intense a couple of times in there. They do a good job of like balancing it out throughout the rest of it, but it does feel like it's a little, just a little bit too much. But I will say, I think it's A tier. I'd say that's A tier. It might even be here. I'm gonna put that there. If it wasn't for how it does a little too much, I'd probably get it up there, because it's kind of a banger. It needs to tone it down just a little bit, and I think it would really nail that sweet spot, because a lot of the song does a lot of things right. Our next theme is the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire theme, the trainer battle theme. So here we go. Ooh, I like that squarely in the background. Okay. Okay. I feel pretty confident about where this goes. So, the thing with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is, in general, their remakes of the music are a bit hit or miss. Sometimes it's a really good like improvement, like the Reggie theme. The Reggie theme in ORAS is like, it's so good. The original was still good, but like the Reggie theme in ORAS like really picked it up, stepped it up a notch. Whereas like in this case, it loses quite a bit of the like intensity that the original had by focusing more on strings. Gen 6 and beyond kind of, well, Gen 6 and 7 and a little bit of 8 kind of just did this thing where like they fell in love with drums. It kind of started in Gen 5, honestly, but like they fell in love with drums and they don't really ever stop it. And that kind of happens here a bit, where you have this driving drum thing going on in the background, but the strings on top aren't really matching the intensity of like the drum and bass. So it's just kind of, it feels like two clashing sounds. It's like listening to it's like if you were listening to Metallica, but then you started hearing like a clarinet. That doesn't sound like it's really supposed to be there. It feels like something's missing here, right? It's a little jarring, and I get a bit of a jarring feeling when I'm listening to this, where it's just not quite hitting the way it's supposed to. So genuinely, for now, yeah, that's like genuinely kind of like a C tier. That kind of fits the criteria of like it's not a bad theme, but it definitely needs more to be hitting the marks that it needs to just at least be like a solid theme, you know, to do its job, right? You know, I feel like they needed some electric guitars. I think they needed the horns. I think Qual is right. They took pretty much all horns out and just kind of replace it with strings, and that doesn't work. Okay, so Sun and Moon, everybody, Sun and Moon trainer battle music. I want to say I remember this decently well. See how the drums never stop? That being said, that's right back into it. So the thing with a lot of Sun and Moon music is that a lot of it, like, it's going for a very different vibe than a lot of the other, you know, games in the series where you are basically in Hawaii. Things are in general in those games very carefree and open until you get much later in the story, and then it gets dark for like all of a sudden just like, oh, now it's really dark. But like everything before, it's like, oh yeah, happy, we're in Hawaii. So it makes sense that it's not quite as like intense as others. That being said, I was commenting on it while we were listening to it, like the drums never stop. And when they finally do, it's extremely noticeable, which is good that it's noticeable because you feel this like, like you can, it's like you can finally exhale, and then they go right back into the drums. The theme itself is fun. It encapsulates the idea of like, it's fun. I think that's under Black and White 2. There are parts of that where it starts to feel like we're getting out of trainer battle. Like there's a part in there. Let me see if I can find it really quick. This part's a little weird to me. That segment there feels a little like I'm fighting a mystical being or I'm like in like La La Land a little bit. It's a little discontorting. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably have it over Black and White. I don't remember if Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon actually changed that theme. I want to say it's the same from the last time I played it. Last time I played it was a couple years ago. And I think Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was just the same theme. Oh, no, it is different. Okay. Okay. This is the part I want to hear. Okay, Essentially, they took the Sun and Moon theme, they slowed down the tempo a bit, they cleaned up the background kind of drum stuff a little bit more. They tightened it up a bit. They tried to, I guess, give this a little bit more of an open feel where it's like bum 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 bum, almost like if you remember the Lake Guardian theme, like when you're inside, it's like bum 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 bum. It's giving these like reverby kind of echoey notes to it, which opens it up a bit more. Anytime you're gonna have that like driving drum stuff in the background where you're trying to drive the energy forward, if your other instrumentation is kind of working against it by being a little more like open and relaxed a little bit more, it just doesn't always makes sense. They did a decent job here blending the two, but there's still some of that, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like more energetic or if it's supposed to be a little more relaxed. And it feels like it's kind of pulling both ways. It's a little bit confusing to me. Like Sun and Moon, the energy at least that came from that original one was pretty good. This one, I'm not a huge fan of. Is that going to go here? Am I really going to play it that low? I might. Yeah, I think that's bottom of C. They did get really experimental with it. I do appreciate that. I like that they wanted to try some new things there. It's just it's not very cohesive to me. Well, let's listen to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee now. I don't think I've actually heard this version because I never played these games. I've watched people play it, but I don't think I've ever watched them just fight a trainer. I think I usually watch them shiny hunt. So. Oh, before I get too far in this, I do have to pause. In case, because this does happen sometimes with this soundtrack, for some reason, the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee soundtrack randomly gets claimed sometimes on YouTube more often than others, in my experience. So just be aware, I might have to really like edit down this section for this song. I might have to edit this one down pretty hard. It might happen for a couple of them here. We'll see, but just be aware. That's why. Okay. That needs to be a bigger moment. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Oh, they do a lot of things good in there. Particularly the end of it before it loops is really what, like, that's very well done. I really like what they did there. That original theme is, it's that's the thing with a lot of Gen 1 music. It's like it was already so good. And so if you just give it some like really good real instruments, like they just slap. I don't know where to rank this, if I'm being honest. It's kind of in this, like, it's not an absolute banger. It's somewhere for me in here, I think. The only thing that I really have against it is, again, the constant driving drums is, it's kind of a personal thing, but it's also like legitimately, like, you know, tone it down a little bit, which they thankfully do a good job of, like I said, at the end, letting that ending part breathe and just let the notes sing. It sounds so good. It sounds so good. I think that the theme does a really good job. And if it hit a little bit more in a couple of spots, I think it would potentially push up there. I think it's here. I think it's right under Heart Gold Soul Silver's Kanto theme. It's kind of in between them because I think I like that more than the Gold Silver Crystal Kanto battle theme. Yeah. This feels good. Did you get Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Oh, I did not. I did not put that on here. Hold on. Let me do that really quick. The Sword and Shield Pokemon Trainer battle theme. I don't remember this one off the top of my head. This is not one that I can just like hum. Okay. Yeah. I mean, oh man. That theme is doing a lot. And unfortunately, it's a bit to its detriment. Again, you want your trainer battle theme to be something that you feel like you can listen to over and over again because you're fighting so many trainers, right? And unfortunately for this song, it feels like it's changing. You never really get to settle in. It's always kind of changing and throwing another instrument at you, or all of a sudden the time signature changes weirdly and you're like, oh, I guess we're here now. I can't really tap my foot along to it like very comfortably. It's a little awkward. It's almost like distracting in a way where it's like you're trying to find like a coherent like melody or theme going on there, and you only really get that when the electric guitar comes in. Like, it's not bad, but it's a big no-no on the side of something I could listen to over and over again. I would fight 2 trainers and be like, okay, like I'm a little sick of that. Where does that go? Do I dare? It's not D. It's not D. It's not D. It is somewhere. I think that's going to land here. I do think it's a little bit more coherent than ORAS. Like ORAS, that instrumentation really works against it. It's just, it's kind of all over the place. Sword and Shield, I think at least has, well, it's kind of all over the place in Sword and Shield too. Honestly, ORAS at least has more of a coherent melody. I guess it has to go here because ORAS is at least like, you can find yourself, like you can be comfortable with the song. It's like, it's not like that great to listen to, but like, at least you're not like uncomfortable, like distracted from the Pokemon itself, you know, like this is a bit more distracting, but it's better than Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. This is definitely the closest we've had to D so far. Our next one is Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So the original was obviously great, right? The original ended up in absolute banger. So let's take a listen to how the remake of it is, 15 years after the originals came out, and, see how it stacks up against the rest. Ooh, okay. With most BDSP music, I think all of it actually, the games were very much rushed and the music kind of took a hit because of it. They had a lot of like MIDI stuff as basically placeholders for a lot of the music in that game and just ran out of time to really be able to fully redo all of the like sounds. So you have this kind of mix of like MIDI sounds and some more like orchestral sounding. It's just a little weird. But some of the songs do it pretty well. Some of the songs turn out like really good. This is one of those ones where it is good. I like what they're doing. Some of the instrumentation choices are really good and fun. Others, a little weird. I think this will encapsulate a little bit more of what I'm looking for. This section. That whole section just kind of sounds like it's going through the motions. It sounds like it's just ba, ba, ba. Like it doesn't feel like there's much like musicality going in there. I feel like I can like see the like music graph of like little bar of green here, ba. It's not giving that same buildup and energy. And part of the problem there too is the fact that the underlying dun 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 is a lot more kind of sloppy. It's a little bit more messy than the original. You need some like dynamic contrast there between the beginning of that, where it should be like, bah, 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 bah. Like you need to build it up. They just hard rely on drums to just drive the energy higher. And it just doesn't, it doesn't accomplish the goal more often than not, and it ends up just getting redundant. Obviously a pretty big step down. It still does some stuff pretty well. Like the main melody kind of theme part of it is fine. It does fine, but like I'm not ranking that above RSE. It's like the original theme was just, it was so well done. This one just, it feels like it is lacking that soul that the original had so much of. Our last theme for tonight, I believe, is Pokemon Scarlet. Now, Scarlet has its trainer battle theme, and then it's got themes in the DLC as well. You forgore Arceus too. Did they have like a trainer battle? I guess they did. Oh yeah, duh, okay. Yeah, we'll listen to this one. I remember the beginning of it being good. I don't remember like the middle of it very well. So let's take a listen. I love how it starts. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 That's how you remake a theme. That is how you remake a theme and you make it your own. Oh man. The first half of that is like, it's good, solid, fine. The second half of that is so fucking cool. That is, oh man, that is really well done. I forgot how good that was. It's been a while since I really booted up the old Legends Arceus. Like, if you're going to try to be a faithful remake, then you really have to be faithful. In this case, they were like, let's take it and just really we are going to make it very much in line with the sound we're going for in Legends Arceus and still bring in the motifs from the Diamond and Pearl theme, because it is still a remake of the theme. But like, oh God, it's so well done. Very, very, very good theme. Oh man. It's between like top of A tier or bottom of absolute banger for me. That's kind of where it is for me. Yeah, that's an absolute banger. That's bottom of absolute banger. When it comes down to it, if I had to listen to that over and over again, I don't have a problem with it. There's no, again, that's the biggest like barrier to getting up here in the absolute banger is like, is it something that I could listen to a bunch of times and it wouldn't get old for me? And to me, I'm jamming to that song the whole time it's playing. So could it do things a little bit better to like push itself up higher? Yes, absolutely. There are a couple of things that I do think it could do a couple of things a little bit better, particularly with, again, the first half of the theme. Intro's really good, gets a little bit weak after the intro, but then the second half of the theme, really strong. So last three themes, Pokemon Scarlet, here we go. Pokemon Scarlet Trainer Battle Theme. Okay. remember liking this as much as I am right now. It's a good theme. I think my biggest issue with it is it just is a little too safe. It feels like it is staying too within its one kind of idea. It's not really branching too far outside of it, which means it doesn't ever get bad, but I'm waiting for it to get good. Like, it's just kind of fine. It's kind of in that black and white range where it's fine. Again, trainer themes don't have to be crazy, but give me a little something, right? Give me a little juice. I kept waiting for it to feel like I am under any pressure. Gotta have a little bit of that edge to it. Okay, so then our final theme, I guess there was no trainer theme, new trainer theme there. We've got our Unova trainer theme that was in the Indigo disc. So let's listen to that and we'll get that one on the board. Okay. Oh my god. Wait, this is really good. Ooh. Yeah. I love how that ending. It almost sounds like a Final Fantasy like victory fanfare at the end there. That's so cool, dude. That slaps, dude. Dude, Toby Fox is so good at his job. Scarlet and Violet's soundtrack, it's just so good. Is that another absolute banger? I don't have a problem with that at all. I really don't. I mean, the question is where? Like, where in this tier does it go? At least here. It's kind of tied with the Diamond Pearl one for me. I'm going to put it slightly under. I think I'm actually going to put it over it. I think I like it that it's not better than these three for me. It's not better than these three, but I think it's there. That theme fucking slaps. What a bounce back for the old black and white sounds, dude. Sounds. From solid like B tier to you get that. Like, oh my god, dude, that's so good. Chat, that's the tier list. That is the tier list. I feel pretty confident about these. I think if anything, we could make the argument that maybe these two should kind of be in like a D tier kind of thing. It's enough merit to not have to be like an entire tier lower, I feel like. Either way, very happy with this tier list. If you don't like my opinions, let me know in the comments after you like the video. I'm happy with that tier list. I'm happy with it. I feel pretty confident, at least about the higher tiers. I feel pretty confident there. As far as the lower ones go, I think it's just kind of personal preference with those lower ones, but and I guess to be fair, in the higher ones, it is kind of still personal preference, but I think those ones up there, I don't have any problem with any of the ones that are in A and absolute banger. I think those all deserve to be there, and I feel pretty good there. I feel pretty good.